Hello again everybody, and a warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast, where on today's show it's the massive preview of the Glasgow Derby, Rangers versus Celtic on Thursday at 3 o'clock. We're going to go through the betting odds, we're going to go through the latest team news, injury news. We've also got all your latest transfer rumours and latest Celtic news as well. So if you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that share button. We can do this at Ibrox. Let's do it, folks. We can do it. Alright, John, we're back. New Year's Day. Happy New Year to you, buddy. Hope you had a good night last night, hugging me. I was up to 6 in the morning having a wee drink, so I had a good night, John. But Happy New Year to you anyway, John.
Aye, Happy New Year, Sander. Happy New Year to all the listeners. And 6 in the morning, that's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it? But I'm suffering for it today, so don't worry about that, folks. Happy New Year, everybody. It's viewing and listening. Happy New Year to everybody and to the Celtic family in general. So, okay, John, let's move on for that, because there's a massive game coming up on Thursday, John, at the 3 o'clock kickoff at Ibrox. Win the game, we win the league. That's the way I look at it. The league's over if we win the league. Some would say the league is over just now. You know, this game's been classed as a dead rubber in some corners, John. Don't know if you've seen that. So that's a good thing, I suppose, that the fact that people are thinking it's a dead rubber, John. Even if we lose, people are saying the league title is over. Sorry, but John, what do you think? It's for me, this is not a dead rubber.
It can be interpreted different ways, I suppose. If you're looking at Celtic already going into the game 14 points ahead, I think that it's going to take a catastrophe for Celtic to lose that 14-point lead. Worst case scenario, like we said the other day, 11 points ahead after it. Still a massive lead, but dead rubber for a derby match, never.
No, I agree with you, John. Before we go any further again, actually, I want to mention the competition for this week, which is the St Mirren game on Sunday, Celtic Park, 3 o'clock kickoff. We're looking for the correct score and any goal scorer in the game as well. So any goal scorer and the correct score to win the Legends Metal Wall plaque. One guess each in the comments, folks. It's just the usual rules. More than one correct entry, and it will go to a prize draw as well. So good luck everybody with that, and the competitions on Facebook and YouTube, folks. We'll get entering into the comments, everybody. Good luck with that. Good luck with the competition. John, what we'll do is we'll start with the latest news, transfer rumours and gossip, because that's came to the forefront again, isn't it? So we'll start with that, news and rumours. Let's start with that, John. And right away, John, this was always going to be in the cards. Greg Taylor, Dynamo Zagreb are interested in Greg Taylor. He's free to speak to anybody as of today. But we knew this was going to happen, John. As soon as Celtic didn't renew this boy's contracts, there was going to be interest from other clubs.
I've been speaking about that for 6 months. Greg Taylor's contract. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, a lot of Celtic fans like Greg Taylor, me included. I like him. I think he's a very decent left back, and very poor in Celtic's part if they don't get that sorted sooner rather than later. Yeah,
John, I need him to sign. I need him. I love Greg Taylor. I've always liked Greg. He's a serial winner, we've got to remember as well. We haven't got this signed over the line yet, John. And now Dynamo Zagreb are interested. You know, they've seen him up close and personal, Dynamo, haven't they? So they know the kind of player they're going to be getting, John. So we just need to hope that doesn't happen and Celtic get this contract situation sorted ASAP before he signs on the dotted line for Dynamo Zagreb or any other club that may be interested in Greg. Okay, John, let's move on, because there's not much we can do about it. We just need to wait and see what happens.
Well, I was going to say we'll take their right back who played at left back.
Yeah, maybe that's it, John. You know, sorry to interrupt, John. That might be in the cards. You know that might be in the cards, because he was a decent player And if there's some sort of swap deal there, because obviously he's still our player, we're still entitled to a fee from him unless he signs a pre-contract to sign in the summer, John. But if they want him just now, there may be a wee swap deal there possible, John. That'd be interesting.
Definitely, aye. Well, I'm like you. I don't want Celtic to lose Greg Taylor, but the boy that I was talking about, his name's was it Gabriel, isn't it? Gabriel.
Gabriel, yeah.
He's a right back, but he played at left back and played up against Nicholas Kuhn and had him in his back pocket, and also got up and down the park creating chances for Zagreb and all that. Fantastic player. Look, if there was some kind of swap deal going on there, I would welcome the move because I thought he was an outstanding wing back, to be honest with you. I'd love to see him playing at left or right back because he's obviously very capable in both positions. So that's a player we've spoke about since Dynamo Zagreb. Gabriel, his name is. I thought he was the outstanding player for their team. So maybe there's something in the pipeline there because very easy on the eye, that player. Brilliant player.
Yeah, John, and you've said that for day one, haven't you, since we saw this boy, Gabriel. John, you've said that for the very minute you saw him, how good he was, and Celtic should go for him instead of Tierney, etc., John. But it's just funny, isn't it? It's actually funny that it's Dynamo Zagreb that are interested in Greg Taylor. So we will watch that one with a lot of interest, John. That's a good point, actually. All right, moving on. Stephen Welsh, John, he is linked to Michelin of Belgium. John, he's linked, big Stephen Welsh. Just a loan move, mind you, but he is linked away from the club in January, John. So big Welsh, he could be on his way.
Aye, well, he definitely needs some game time, Stephen Welsh. He's a half-decent defender, big Stephen, but I don't think he gets enough game time to, he's not getting a chance to show what he's capable of, I don't think, Stephen Welsh. But a wee bit of time away, 6-month loan deal somewhere, if he's getting a permanent game for any team, he might come back to Celtic a better player. Still pretty young as well.
He is, John. He is decent. In the last game he played, actually, he kept a clean sheet, didn't he, beside Big Scalesy. So, all right, good luck to Stephen no matter what he does. Obviously, we just want to clarify these are all rumours. Nothing's concrete here. These are just newspaper rumours, right, John? So this just to clarify that in case people are on the comments saying this, that, the next thing. You know what it's like. As soon as you say the wrong word or spell something wrong, people are on your case. So just to clarify that this is a just newspaper rumour. And moving on to the next one that isn't a rumour, John, is Dane Murray. He returns to Celtic from Queen's Park loan. The big defender, John Dane Murray. So we don't know what kind of player he's turned into, but he returns to Celtic.
All right, I never knew that. I don't know if he was getting regular game time for Queen's Park or anything, but maybe Brendan's seen something that he likes and wants to bring him back. Or either that or his loan move's just over. I don't know. Don't know anything about the boy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it could be that, John. It could be that it's just over and he might just get sent right back out on loan again. So it's just to let everybody know that he's back at Celtic as of today anyway, John, the big centre-back. James McAtee of Manchester City, John, there's rumours of him linked to Celtic for a loan move, the midfielder. But also Fulham and West Ham are also interested in midfielder John James McAtee. He's not getting much game time for Man City anyway, James, but he is linked with Celtic as of the opening of the January transfer window, John. So Brendan looking at midfielders as well.
Aye, Brendan's always looking to strengthen in every position, so there's no surprise there. What about John Kenny? Any update on him?
Yeah, John, I've got that, John. But before we go to Johnny, the James McAtee thing, John, you did say that Brendan would first look in the English Premier League, didn't you? Actually, he did say that rather than going for players like the boy from Motherwell, Lennon Miller, is it? Players like that. He'd rather look at the English Premier League. And it looks as though that's what he's doing.
Aye. It's always going to be the case with Brendan. He's got a lot of contacts in the English Premier League, down in England in general. He's got a lot of contacts. So that was always going to be his first port of call. Put the feelers out, see who's available, try and get them into Celtic, get them regular game time, and if anything, it'll be a couple of loan moves from the Premiership, I think.
Yeah, John, you've been right with everything you said so far, actually. I think I've got Brendan's phone number there. Anyway, John, let's move on. So, John, Aston Villa and Spurs are looking at Nicolas-Gerrit, and this was always going to be the case as well, John. I think if he leaves Celtic, it'll not be the summer, mind you, but if he does leave Celtic, and it's teams like Aston Villa and Spurs that are interested in him, we're looking at 30-35 million for this boy, I think.
Definitely, if he continues that kind of form, he's definitely that kind of price bracket, I would say 25, 30, maybe 35 at a push.
Yeah.
Because he is an outstanding player, isn't he? He's just in the door at Celtic, remember? He's still got a long time to go in his contract, so look, I would rather keep the player, to be honest with you, Nicolas-Gerrit. I think every Celtic fan's exactly the same. We want to keep our best players. It was the same with Mattarelli. We lost him, and I think we're still struggling to fill that void. And it will be the same for Nicolas-Gerrit.
Yeah, so he's one of the best wingers we've had at Celtic in years. James has been there a long time, outstanding winger. I think, Kuhn is, he's just a top class winger. We had Jota, didn't we, as well. We had Abada, players like that. I just think Nicholas, outshines all of these players, to be honest with you, maybe with the exception of Jamesy Boy when he was at his best. So, yeah, we want to keep the player. That's 100% guarantee. We need him to stay. But when teams like Spurs and Aston Villa, John, and that's just to start with, are looking at him, then you've got a fight in your hands to keep the player.
Aye, exactly. But look, at Celtic, we're talking about if the right price comes in, Nicolas-Gerrit is off. It's as simple as that. If Celtic offered 25, 30 million pounds for him, they're going to snap it up. They're going to take it. It's big money, and it'll be invested back into the team, I hope. But it's a big loss if he does go. But right now, we're not thinking about that. We'd rather keep the player. End of discussion. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our eye on it.
Yeah. Okay, John, and with Big Welshie possibly on his way out, Celtic are looking at other centre-backs. Odense centre-back, Tobias Slot-Sager. John, he's a centre-back for Odense. So Brendan looking at him as well. Big Stratton, 19-year-old centre-back, John. So he's young, but he's played 36 games for Odense, John. So he's no a project, if you like. He's a first-team regular for Odense. But I know you've never heard of him, but Brendan looking at centre-backs as well.
Like I said, he's always looking to strengthen every position of the team. So, I welcome strengthening all over the park for Celtic. The only place we don't really need strengthening is the goalkeeper position. I think we've got a couple of very capable keepers there. So that, I think, other than that, he'll be looking to strengthen every position, Sander. What about big Alex Gogic? Would you welcome him to Celtic? Guy's done it all in Scotland. Big solid defender. How do you think he would fare in a Celtic team full of experienced, top quality players?
Yeah, I would welcome it, John. Of course I would, because he has quality. He's solid as well, but purely as backup, John. Purely as a backup defender.
That's what I mean. Experienced backup,
Yeah, I would welcome that, John. And I like Big Gogic. He's a decent big guy as well, isn't he? But he's a no-nonsense player, John. Absolutely no-nonsense. And and he doesn't have a lot of red cards in his career either, John. So he's fair with his no-nonsense. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. Yeah, I would welcome that.
He's also a fair age.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe his age would maybe go against it. But, we've signed all the players plenty of time. Well, look at Casper, 38. So, yeah, I wouldn't rule that one out, John. Purely as backup.
Well, he's actually not that old. I've just checked on me. He's only actually 30. I thought he was a lot older than that. But there you go. He's only 30.
Yeah. Well, Big Gogic. Yeah, he's, as I say, no nonsense. And if your Carter Vickers and your Scales or whoever else is there, John, Trusty gets an injury, he would be there to step in, wouldn't he? Maybe not quite the Celtic quality, but no nonsense defender always goes down a treat, John, especially at Celtic.
I've always liked Alex Gogic. I do think he's a quality defender, and like I say, I think with the right players surrounding him, I think he would flourish in a Celtic team, but he's no nonsense, he's solid, he's also good for a goal. I like him. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, I just thought we'd throw that into the mix.
Yeah, throw it into the mix. Yeah, why not, John? Why not? This is a crazy season, isn't it? Rumour season. And we'll get to the preview of the big match, folks. I promise. I know we're 14 minutes in. We've not even spoke about it yet, but it is coming. Don't worry about that. But there's still a wee bit still to go through, John. You mentioned Johnny Kenny earlier. He's back at Celtic, John, and he's in training as well. So Brendan's having a good close look at Johnny Kenny. Our striker, John, he is our player. He's returned from Shamrock Rovers. Banging in the goals over there, didn't he? Banged in plenty of goals. I can't remember how much it was, 20 odd goals in 30 odd games. So outstanding for Johnny Kenny, but can he do it at the top level at Celtic, John?
He's surrounded by top quality players. Better service than what you'll get at Shamrock Rovers. Well, I don't know the Shamrock Rovers team, but they're no in a par with Celtic. But absolutely, I think he could do it at Celtic. It's just a case of, giving him a wee chance, see what happens.
Yeah, that's it, John. He's there anyway, and he's training with the first team squad, so that's good news. Brendan, the manager, he gets a chance to look at him, and if at the end of the day, it's his decision, isn't it? So, good luck to Johnny anyway, John, because a guy that can score all the goals in 30 odd games, he can't be all bad, I suppose. Right, John, moving on. Nicholas Kuhn, I forgot to mention at the start, his birthday today, 25 today, Nicholas. Happy birthday to the wee man. Give yourself, a late birthday present at Ibrox on Thursday, John, with maybe banging in a wee goal and a couple of assists.
Aye, exactly, aye. We know he's capable of that, so aye, happy birthday.
Yeah. Okay, John. Okay, happy birthday, as you say. Let's move on because there's still a wee bit to go through before the big preview. John, Thiago Home, and Lewis Palmer. Looks as though they're going to be sent out on loan to the MLS in January, John. So Palmer and Home, looks as though they're going to be leaving in January as well, John. So both not really getting a chance at Celtic, are they? I don't know if it's loan moves. I think it is, though, but I'm not 100% sure. Could be permanent, not 100%. But Home and Palmer possibly on their way out in January, John.
Aye, Home's a disappointment, isn't he? He came in with a lot of, people were bumming about him. He's got a lot of potential and all that. Did absolutely nothing in his time at Celtic. And Palmer, exactly the same. Bags of ability. Just, he's never cut it at Celtic. I think he had about 4 or 5 good games for Celtic. And then missed a penalty for his country and was never the same player again. So I would welcome a move for both of them at the club.
Okay, John. Okay. Let's wrap this up because just a couple of wee bits that don't really affect Celtic. Zander Clark, he's on his way to Hibs. Remember Zander Clark, John? He's sort of a forgotten about and frozen out at Hearts, isn't he? So he's on his way to Hibs, possibly, John, within the next week or two. And the only other one I can really think that was having a wee laugh at was Schalke are looking at Matondo from Rangers, which I think is hilarious. Why would Schalke look at a player that hasn't kicked a ball in about 6 months, John? So Matondo could be on his way out of Ibrox as well. All right, John, that wraps up all your rumours for the day. Let's get into the big preview, John, the big one. The game that if we win, the league title is over. Celtic Football Club heading over to Ibrox Park, John, 3 o'clock on Thursday. Massive game. How's your nerves before this one?
It's always nerve-wracking, There's never a derby game I get into thinking this is easy. I've never ever thought that. I think once in my life I just knew Celtic would win. But you never know in these games, do you? So there's always a wee bit of nerves, Sander. And this is no different.
That's no different, John, because the bookies are agreeing with you, actually, John. The Celtic are not overwhelming favourites, although they are favourites going into this one. Rangers are just over 2-1, John, just over the 2-1 mark, because they're at home with 50,000 screaming fans, aren't they? So that's probably why the price is so low there. The draw is 72, and Celtic are evens, John. So Celtic are evens to win the game, which is, overwhelming favourites, really. When you're looking at a Glasgow Derby at Ibrox, 50,000 screaming fans, and Celtic are evens. Well, Rangers are nearer 3-1 than 2-1. to win at home. So Celtic are definitely the hot favourites of the bookmakers.
Aye, so it all comes down to form, and Celtic's record at Ibrox when there's no fans there is pretty good. So, aye, I think Celtic really should be favourites in this one, but it's a hard to call though, isn't it? Derby games, anything can happen in them, Xander. So, aye.
Yeah, red cards, VAR, penalties, all the usual stuff. No Celtic fans, John. It's all there, for any sort of result, really. But as you said there, John, at the start, the form goes for a lot, and we are on top form just now, and Rangers are obviously in a big mess, if you're going to be honest. Before we get to the team news for both teams, Brendan saying that Celtic need to tidy up the errors. I think he's talking about the cup final, John, where we made a few errors. Rangers scored 3 against us, didn't they? So he's looking for that to be tidied up, John, and that can only be expected.
Aye, of course, aye. But I don't know, the more you talk about this game, the more nervous I get. It's always the same, but aye, there's a lot's got to be tidied up at Ibrox, and that's the defence for a start. They've been good recently, haven't they? A couple of clean sheets in a row, 2-4-0 wins. Rangers' last 2 games, conceding goals, defeats, and draws. Aye, it all points to a Celtic win, but aye. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah. It is one that's exciting, and we're all looking forward to. We've already run through the referees and the VAR, John, but we'll quickly run through it again. Don Robertson's the referee for this one, folks. Nick Walsh is on the VAR, but we spoke about that on the last podcast, so it's just a wee reminder there. Right, John, let's have a wee look at the weather forecast for Ibrox. I know it's -14, yeah, very good. But the actual weather forecast is for 2 degrees, John. So very cold, but very bright and sunny as well, John. One of those cold winter's days with winds up to 28 miles an hour. So almost perfect conditions for a game of football, John.
Aye. I don't know what I prefer. The rainy days, the sunny days, it's cold. Anywhere that Celtic's beating them in's the best, isn't it? I don't know. As long as it's a nice day. I don't like all that wind and rain and all that stuff. If there's nice, calm conditions, that's perfect for me, Xander. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, nice, calm and chilly and sunny. So, yeah, just a nice winter's day. And, that's your official, Met Office weather report for 3 o'clock on Thursday, John. All right, okay, let's move on. Let's get into the more serious stuff then, John. Celtic have won, out of the last 17, John, sorry. Rangers have only won 1 out of the last 17 derbies, John. So, that's Celtic are just totally dominant in this fixture over the last few years, haven't they? And we just hope that continues on Thursday, John, with a good performance and 3 points to wrap up the title, John. But 1 win in 17, that's just total domination.
Aye, and that was a dead rubber.
Yeah.
Celtic had already won the league by that point. But even the games, you don't want to lose the games, although it's not quite as sore when you lose them. The league's already won. That is the definition of a dead rubber, But this game's different. This isn't a dead rubber. The league isn't won yet. Win this game, I would say the league's won. Like you says, though, a lot of people have already says it's already won, but I'm not looking at it that way, Xander, not at all.
No. It's very tough, isn't it, when you think about it? This fourth, I mean, you would have bit your arm off for 14-point lead at this stage in the season, John. But now we're in this position. You just want to go to Ibrox and win the game. An underperforming Rangers. Let's be honest, underperforming Rangers. Brilliant performance Celtic going to Ibrox. Okay, the only thing that goes against us, John, is this massive crowd with 0 Celtic fans. That is going to play its part, isn't it?
Always plays its part, I think, aye. But the Celtic fans cope. No Celtic fans, the Celtic players cope with that quite well, I think. They have done in the past. There's no reason why they can't do that again. Celtic might smell a wounded animal and I don't know, just totally go for it and annihilate them. On the other hand, you just don't know what can happen. It's a derby game. We know Celtic fans, anything can happen. I'm sure the Rangers players, they're going to be fired up for this as well. There's no way they're going to let Celtic come to Ibrox and walk all over them. That's not going to happen, I don't think.
No, definitely no, John. It's going to be a tight one. But we hope it isn't tight, John. We hope we can get a few goals and just calm the nerves. That's what we always hope for when we play Rangers, isn't it? Okay, let's get into some team news then, John. Let's hit the big elephant in the room. Tav, super captain Tav, John, he's out of this one. There's been a lot of quite funny posts actually on Facebook, John, regarding the Tavernier bottling it to play Celtic, basically. He is. So he's out of this one, John. He's been having nightmares about Dyson, hasn't he? But I also read a couple of posts of people saying that might actually be good news for Rangers, John. What do you think?
I know a lot of Rangers fans have went right off him, but that's thanks to Dyson Maeda exposing him for what he is. But I don't think he's in hiding. If he's injured, he's injured. I don't think Tavernier would want to miss big games like that. And then again, you don't know. The prospect of coming up against Dyson Maeda, it must terrify him because Dyson, in every single game he plays against him, gets the better of him. So, it would be terrifying for me if I was a professional player. I'm coming up against a guy that terrifies me. I might fake a wee injury,
Yeah. But as you say, John, I think he's genuinely injured. But that might go against us. Him no playing, John. I know he's their captain, right? But it could go against us, to be honest with you. But
I don't think so, Xander. I think he's probably a decent left back. I think right back. Sorry, I think he's decent. It's just when he comes up against Dyson, he has a torrid time. But I think he's definitely the best right back at Rangers, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Well, he's out of this one anyway, John. So it'll be Sterling will be playing at right back instead of Tavernier. So let's get into some other team news. Suter, he's definitely out. We spoke about that, didn't we, John? Cannavaro, he's out as well. He's a long-term injury for them. Balogun, John, it looks as though they're going to risk Balogun and play him with one leg, apparently. So he is injured, but they've no other choice but to play this guy, Balogun. But he could still miss it, John. What they're saying is he could still miss it if he doesn't improve by tomorrow. But even if he does improve, he's still injured, John. But they may have to risk him. So in other words, he's going to be playing.
I was going to say that. So otherwise, they're lying. He's definitely playing. Definitely 100% he'll play.
Yeah. So, and Proper as well, John. I think he's okay as well, John. So he picked up a knock, but he should be okay as well. But Balogun's the one, John. He's their main centre half. If he doesn't make it, they're in deep stick. So we'll wait and see what the team news brings us on Thursday, John. I don't know if I've said Sunday a couple of times, but obviously it's Thursday, isn't it? All right, John, that's it for the team news for them. Let's get into the Celtic team news. Alistair, he's back fit, fighting well, which was a bit of a surprise, John, because we thought he was going to be out for the St Johnstone game, and it was all over the place that he was going to be out. So it just goes to show you we don't actually know anything. It's only the manager that knows the team news, John. But Alistair, back fit, John, that's just brilliant news, isn't it?
Aye, of course it is. Aye. The other option's Anthony Ralston, who played a blinder his last game, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we need our top players for this one. Alistair Johnston's one of our top players. We welcome him back.
Yeah, that's it. He's back, John, and everybody else is fighting fit as well. We'll get to the predicted lineup in a wee minute. What we think the predicted lineup for Celtic's going to be. But John, if we win this one, if we do win the Glasgow Derby on Thursday, we've actually won more New Year fixtures than Rangers as well. So that's another record broke, John. If we beat them, it's record after record just now with Brendan, isn't it?
Aye. Well, I don't look into stuff like that. But it's always good to hold the records for the New Year derbies and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty meaningless, really, isn't it? But as long as we win the game, I'm no interested in records, Sander.
Yeah, I'm the same, John. Records mean nothing to me. It's trophies that mean everything to me and to you and to every other Celtic fan and supporter, John. So, just another wee couple of wee bits on Rangers, John, because that's who we're playing, so we're allowed to mention them. If they're already looking ahead, aren't they? So if Rangers lose to Celtic on Thursday, Clement will be sacked, and Russell Martin, ex-Rangers player, just sacked by Southampton. Russell Martin is the favourite to step in place of Clements, John. So they're looking ahead, aren't they, to beyond Thursday's game?
I never heard of Russell Martin. I don't remember him anyway. I don't remember the name. Doesn't ring a bell, that one, Russell Martin. And I don't watch the English game, so I know nothing about it. But Clement sacked if he loses this game. They must have won on a lottery or something to pay him off, because where are they getting the money to pay him off?
Yeah, what a great point, John. What a segue to bring us on to the next point, actually, because Rangers now need to pay the £600,000 to Aberdeen. That's it been confirmed now, John. We spoke about it about a month ago, that it's possible they may have to pay it. It's now confirmed, John. They need to pay it. They need to pay Aberdeen £600,000 for the sale of Conor Barron. That needs to be paid to Aberdeen, John. That's been announced by the SFA. John, they need to sell players before they can buy any in January, and now they need to pay this £600,000.
Aye, well, quite rightly so. Look, Conor Barron's a half decent wee player. To get him for free was a bit of a steal, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
I think Aberdeen, I think they're right to seek the money that they deserve. So, 600,000 coming Aberdeen's way. But the big question is, where are they going to get the money to pay off Clement?
Yeah, John. If he loses on Thursday, he will be sacked. If they lose on Thursday, let's be honest about it. It's there's no two ways about it. He'll be sacked. So,
I think Big Phil's had enough there, Xander.
Do you think, John? Aye.
I think he looks like a guy he's had it. He appears that way in his interviews. I think he's had enough. I don't think he's going to get any more out of the players than he's got so far.
Yeah, which is nothing. Yeah,
absolutely nothing.
All right, John. Back to Celtic then. The dilemma in midfield, John, into it. Bernardo, Engels, who's on form again. We're out to see Engels on form into it. Bernardo, Engels, Hatate, Luke McCowan, John. Dilemma's there. So he's got to pick two out of the four. John, obviously, Callum keeps his place. We'll get to the lineups in a minute. But it's a dilemma for Brendan, isn't it? Because obviously, I think Luke McCowan, he's not getting enough game time, but he's not going to start at Ibrox, is he? Let's be honest. But you never know. Only Brendan knows that, John. So it's a pick between Rio, Bernardo, and Engels, John. So that brings us nicely onto the predicted team lineup then, John. What are you thinking?
Full steam ahead. Here we go. Casper Schmeichel, Carter Vickers, Trusty. I think he'll start this one. Although I think Scales should start it, but I think Trusty will.
Yeah.
Alistair Johnston, Greg Taylor, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate. I think Bernardo's going to start this one.
Right, okay.
So I'm going for McGregor, Hatate, and Bernardo.
Yeah.
Engels could, but I think it's going to be Bernardo. Up front, Dyson, Kyogo, and Nicholas Kuhn.
Yeah, John, that's it for me as well. Only changes by Scales he starts for me. Apart from that, John, I think it's the exact same. Yeah, Bernardo, John, right? He's a bright. We've all said it about Paolo, haven't we? That he's just a top quality midfielder. He just needs to get his fitness up to speed. I think, John. I think Nicholas was the same when he first came into, and he's bulked up and got himself fully match fit. I think Paolo needs to do the same. He's brilliant for 60 minutes, John, and then he has to come off, doesn't he? So maybe I could be wrong, John, but maybe a wee slight fitness issue there, John.
I'm not sure, but he looks good when he's on anyway.
Yeah, he does.
He's a good player as well.
Yeah. yeah, he looks good, and he's a decent player. No, John, I'm not totally in agreement with you, but I think there's a wee issue there. I think he needs to work on his stamina to last the full 90 minutes. Would you think?
Possibly. But like I say, if he's on for an hour, I'm happy with that. A bit like Tom Rogic, really. You get a good hour at him, then he comes off. But you're placing Bernardo for Engels, if that's the case, as a substitute, which is just as good. So, well, maybe not quite as good, I don't think, as Bernardo. I don't think Engels is quite as good as Bernardo, but you're still replacing him with a top quality player.
Yeah, Bernardo's passing range is outstanding, isn't it? His passing is top notch. He finds passes that you don't even see yourself, and he's on the football field, John. He sees things that other players don't. Bernardo, didn't he? So yeah, he starts for both of us then, John. I'll be quick word on Yang, John. I thought he was decent against St Johnstone, but he played on the left. I'd like to see him getting a few more wee chances, John, especially if we win Ibrox on Thursday, 17 points clear. We can maybe, especially with the next two games coming up at home against St Mirren, next one's against St Mirren. I think I'd like to see, John, maybe it was a fluke, John. I'd just like to see Yang getting another wee couple of chances on the left.
Maybe just as a sub or whatever. I don't think he'll start or be a sub.
Yeah.
At Ibrox, I don't think. But I would like to see him start more on the left because, like you says, I think he'll look decent there. But then again, you need to take Dyson off to play Yang on the left, so that's not going to happen very often.
No, John. But maybe in these games where, like you did against St Johnstone, games like St Johnstone at Celtic Park, John, I'd like to see a wee bit more of him there. Give the boy a chance, and he gives Dyson a rest as well, didn't it, for a game or two. Right, John, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else as regards to the team that we need to talk about. I don't think so. I think we're okay. Maybe the Greg Taylor, Alex Valley scenario. Will it be a case of Greg leaving the club, John? Then Alex Valley gets a more permanent chance. It's not looking good, that situation, to be honest with the Greg Taylor situation.
I think we need to bring in another left back if Greg leaves, but Alex Valley, I don't think he's quite as good as Greg Taylor yet. He's only a young boy, remember, but he will get better. And he's only a loan player, so he's got to take that into account as well. He might not want to stay at Celtic, but I still think if Greg goes, Celtic really need to look at this boy Gabriel. I think he's more than decent.
Yeah, John. It's I just think as regards to Greg himself, he's just a wee character about Celtic Park as well, isn't he? He's always got a smile on his face. He's always laughing and joking with the players. I just love to see him stay. Honestly, he's just an influence on the rest of the players, isn't he? So, but wait and see what happens over the next week or so, John. But the fact that there's other clubs linked already with Greg is it's a bit worrying for me. So we'll wait and see. You don't want to be the bearer of bad news, John, when there's no bad news there. So, okay, John, this is the big prediction, the score prediction. This is the one. This is it's not easy. It's not easy predicting a Glasgow Derby Ibrox with 50,000 screaming Rangers fans. But you've got to take into account the form as well. You've got to take everything into account and give us a score prediction. What you think?
I think there's goals in both teams, to be honest with you. Celtic's had 2 clean sheets as well recently, but they're playing against Rangers who have got decent strikers. What's the boy's name again? Eggman, is it? Eggman or Eggman, we'll call him.
Yeah.
I think he's decent. I think he's very decent. So we need to be aware of him. We need to be aware of their whole team because they've got decent players all through their team. But I think there's goals in both teams in this one. I'm going to go for another high-scoring one, Sander. I'm going to say 3-2 Celtic.
Yeah, that's one of the heart attack games again, isn't it? Where your nails are through the roof, your no nails left, 3-2. But I would take it if that's the case for after 90 odd minutes, John. I would take it. I'm going to go opposite from you, John. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. No low, but low enough. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Celtic, John. 2-1 win for Celtic, John. But either way, that would put an end to the league title.
Aye. Well, I was going to say 2-1, but I think goals. I think both teams are capable of scoring goals. So that's why I'm saying 3-2. Whatever score it is, it's going to be a close one, I think. I don't think it's going to be any one-sided kind of derby or anything like that. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a very close, tight game. But I think, differently from you, I think there's going to be goals in this one.
Yeah, goals, especially with Kyogo back on form with his assists and goals at the weekend there, John. Brilliant to see the wee man back in scoring action. And he had one disallowed as well, didn't he? So, yeah, it's looking good, let's be honest. But as you say, John, it's a derby. Anything can happen. But, you know, the form of both clubs you've got to take into account as well. Right, John, okay, that's it. Unless there's anything you want to add as regards to the preview, John, we'll move on to other stuff. You want to have a wee sum up with the preview?
No, I just think, like I said, I think I did sum up. I just think it's going to be a close, edgy game. It's going to be goals in it. Could be totally wrong. It's just a guess, of course. But I've just got a feeling there's going to be goals in this one. I think Rangers are about to prove a point after the bad results. They haven't won a game since Celtic put them at the cup. I think they're about to try and make amends for that. But where their injuries in their defence and stuff might be harder than they think. But Celtic's got a lot of quality up front, and they're quite good at keeping the door shut at the back as well. But no against Rangers, apparently, according to the cup final.
Yeah, the cup final, yeah. But we did mention that at the start, John, didn't we? How we've got to cut out the errors in this one. We really do, actually. I think Brendan's right. We need to lock up that defence. You know, that's why I think Big Scales will start. He always plays a blinder against Rangers, didn't he, Big Scales? So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Right, John, that wraps it up. Let's have a wee touch on the rest of the fixtures in the SPL before we go. Then, John, I always like to get your predictions for the rest of the games because it's we like to talk about other clubs here as well, don't we, John? So let's have a wee look at it. Aberdeen, Ross County, John.
Aberdeen's got to stop the rot sometime, haven't they? They've got to stop this rot that they're in, losing games and drawing games. Aberdeen home win, I think. 2-1 Aberdeen.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, but they could at least go level if Celtic beat Rangers and Aberdeen win. So they could at least go level, or they might even pip Rangers into second place with a win against Ross County. And I'm going for a Dons win as well, 3-0, John, for Aberdeen. I think they'll bounce back. As you say, they can't go on losing games forever, can't they? Hearts, John, total disarray, can't they, against Motherwell at Tynecastle. I mean, where the Hearts go? You know, they can't buy a win, can they? What are you thinking, buddy?
I think Motherwell still feel hard done by with that disallowed goal against Rangers. The shocking decision that when it's under Mare. I watched that and thinking, what are these officials seeing? There's absolutely nothing in that, and the goalie punches it into the net. Motherwell might feel a wee bit hard done by, maybe a wee bit deflated by that. I'm going to go for a narrow Hearts win here, Xander. I'm going to go 1-0 Hearts.
All right, John. I'm going to take a wee note of that. Yours on the left, mine's on the right. What was your Aberdeen one again? Sorry, John.
Ross County. Aberdeen won. I think it was. I says 2-1 Aberdeen.
2-1. Yep, 2-1. So it was, and I said 3-0. Right, sorry about that, John. I was miles away there. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win, John. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Motherwell. I think they're playing well, Motherwell, if you know what I mean. I think they're okay. They're doing well. And I'm going for a 2-1 win for the Steelmen. Kilmarnock, St Mirren, John. Another one into Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock are up the 1 week, they're down the next, up, down. St Mirren are the same, but they're no long off the back of a win against the Rangers, and then they lose their next game. So both teams are up and down. What do you think, buddy?
Aye, Aberdeen get beat with Kilmarnock, didn't they? 4-0. That was a big win for Kilmarnock, that.
Yeah.
Seem to be okay at home, I think, Kilmarnock. St Mirren, cracking wee team, St Mirren, I think. But I think Kilmarnock's going to edge this one. I'm going to say 1-0 Kilmarnock.
1-0 to the Kelly Pie boys. St Mirren, John, I'm going to, I don't know. By the way, we had a few comments for St Mirren supporters in the YouTube comments. Some really nice comments for them. The guys and girls at St Mirren wishing us all the best, and thanking us for putting the wee video on about St Mirren. We just good wee comments, John. Nice people. But I'm going to say one each. 1-1 against Kilmarnock. I think 2 of them are 2 up and down. It's so the one each way Kilmarnock and the Saints and the boys. Johnson, Hibs, John.
St Johnstone, who are they playing?
Hibs.
Hibs, I thought that's what you said. You kind of broke up there, aye. St Johnstone against Hibs. It's got to be a Hibs win, isn't it? They're starting to hit form at the right time. I'm going to say 2-0 Hibs.
2-0 the Hibees. I'll say, I don't know, John. It's St Johnstone at home, so it's a tough place. But yeah, 3-1 to the Hibees, John. 3-1. They are in form, and they're actually getting closer to the top end of the league, John. So, they really are pushing on after being quite low in the league all season. So, good luck to them, I suppose. And Dundee United, John, the big Dundee Derby. This one's at 5:30 on Thursday, John. So it's one to watch after the Glasgow Derby if you're in the mood. Hopefully, we're all in the mood. Dundee United, John.
Dundee against the anti-football. I like Dundee United. I just can't believe what I've seen against Celtic. It's a tough one, isn't it? Dundee United. 2 half-decent teams. I'm going to go for a United win in this one. I'm going to say 2-1 United.
2-1 Dundee United. Yeah, they're decent United, aren't they? It was just that game against Celtic. They didn't turn up, but they got a point out of it. That's the frustrating thing about it, isn't it? Yeah, 2-0 Dundee United, John. The one for United in the Dundee Derby. So 2-0 to the Tangerines there, John. For me, I think that's it. I think that's all the games covered. We've done the Glasgow Derby as well. Next fixtures for Celtic, John. We've got St Mirren at home on Sunday, and then our next league fixture, John, is at home as well. But looking at Rangers' next fixture after the Glasgow Derby, John, it's Hibs away for Rangers, so it doesn't get any easier for them. But I think Rangers have got a good record against Hibs.
Very good record against Hibs. It's a tough game though when the Hibs are hitting a bit of form, and they're back at home, so it's a tough game. But don't want to look too far ahead right enough, so we'll leave that one there until we get to it, Xander.
Yeah, that's it, John, because we don't know what's going to happen in between now and then, John. So, okay, that wraps that up as well. Oh, that's me covered everything, John. Anything you want to add before we go?
Nah, no, really, no. Just looking forward to the game, of course. Just I've got to show up 100%, every player. I just hope the Celtic players haven't got it in the back of their mind they can take this easy, because Rangers will be right up for this. They'll be wanting to prove that they're not out of this race yet. But the Celtic players, they won't take this for granted. They know this is a must-win game, especially for the fans that can't get to the game. And they want to win it for Brendan, who never wants to lose one of these games. And that's the great thing about having Brendan at the helm. Brendan does not ever want to lose one of these games. He's a Celtic man. He's a Celtic fan. He doesn't want to lose it. He wants to make the fans happy. He wants the fans on his side. He wants to get him to a nice bottle of wine at night time after beating them, and probably a wee celebration himself. So we've got the right man at the club, Xander, when it comes to beating them, I think. So he'll have it well drilled into their players. Go out there and beat them.
Yeah, well said, John. And I think you're right. I think we've got to be wary. VAR, red cards, penalties. And I think the Celtic players are good at that, John, actually, playing the game with that in mind. And they just play the game. They're not a dirty team, Celtic. So, yeah, that's why I don't know. I think we've had a red card this season, have we? So, we just need to be very wary of decisions from VAR, etc., John. So, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be absolutely fine, John. I think if Celtic beat Rangers on Thursday night, there's going to be major celebrations all over the place. What do you think?
Aye, definitely, aye. The league's over if we beat them. I can say that without worrying about any comebacks off people.
Yeah.
There's no way Celtic's going to blow a 17-point lead. Celtic will just get stronger and stronger from then. And if we lose the game, we're still 11 points ahead with another 2 home games coming up. So that 14-point lead, even if we get beat, which I don't think we will, I think that 14-point lead will be restored before our next away games, Ander. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I can't wait. I can't wait to 3 o'clock on Thursday to see what happens, because I'll be celebrating if we win. Let's put it that way. And if we don't win, it's not the end of the world, is it? That's the way every Celtic supporter should be looking at this. Right, John, New Year's Day. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate that, buddy. I know it's a time of the year where we don't really do podcasts. Nobody does podcasts and stuff like that. It's a quiet day, John. The roads are quiet. Everywhere's quiet. But we had to do the preview of this big game. So thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate that. Good luck to Celtic on Thursday. All the best of luck to the Brendan and the boys. Remember, into the competition as well, folks. Competition correct score for St Mirren on Sunday, and anytime goal scorer in the comment section. Good luck with that, everybody. And by the way, Fat Boy hasn't claimed his prize yet either, by the way.
By the way, he left his address in the YouTube comments.
Oh, did he? Right, I've not seen that, right. Okay, brilliant. Well done, Fat Boy. We'll get that sent out to you. Not tomorrow, it'll probably be Friday before I can get that posted, and you'll get it early next week. So thanks for that, John. I'll need to look for that and get that posted out to Fat Boy. So congratulations, Fat Boy. Thanks for that, John. Okay, we'll catch you on the post-match, John.
Catch you in the post-match, Sander. Hopefully it's a good one. Hail, hail, mate.
Hail, hail, buddy. Thanks for coming on.